Well, I'm Josh.
I don't think everybody knows. Can you tell them?
Yeah, my name's Josh, and I'm a messenger of the gospel. So we go to Deep Ellum. We go to this amazing place, and what was awesome about this is how quickly things happened. So we get there, and we park. We have to pay to park, and we get to the place where we're gonna pay. And it was just 4 of us, myself and 3 others. And as we're standing there getting ready to pay, we notice this parade of people coming down. Look it up if you want. Don't if you don't feel the Spirit leading you. But the Krampus Society. It's the opposite of St. Nicholas. It's this demonic, it's just really bad. And there's people dressed in this most demonic, hideous stuff. There was about, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 people walking down the street. They actually stopped for a little bit. Anyways, as we were sitting there, I was saying, you know what, let's just stand in the middle of their path so that when they come by, it's just going to be a symbol of the Spirit in us dispersing them. They'll have to go around us. And so I realized that I need to hurry up and pay so I don't get kicked out of the parking lot. I pay. I go put the little thing on the dash, and as I'm ready to leave, this guy comes around, and he just says, he actually was like going to run into me, but he says, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And I said, I'm just right here, and I'm just putting this thing in. And he says, can you spare a little change? I give him a little change. And he walks around the other side of the car, and I'm walking by, we bump into each other again. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to talk to him. His name's Lamont, and I said, dude, I just got to know right now, I'm just going to cut it right to the chase. Who's Jesus to you? And he looks at me and goes, I'm a believer. I've got that. I've accepted Christ and all this. And the Holy Spirit said, challenge him. So I just said, dude, I said, you know what? People have told me from time to time what I want to hear. Are you BSing me? And he goes, oh man. He goes, you got me. He says, yeah, I did accept Christ, but I'm not living it. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And for the next 25 minutes, we pour into this man. He gets wrecked. I said, where are you at? I said, do you realize what surrender is? He says, well, if there's a line here, it's like I'm right here, but I want to keep some of me in here. And I said, you know what full surrender is, right? And I said, he goes, what? And I push him over the line. And he's just like, I need to do that, but I'm so scared. He goes, I want that light. The light that you've got, I see the light. I want the light of Jesus. How do I get it? How do I get it? How do I get it? I said, let's come to that line again. And I pulled him back over it. And he starts crying. He starts weeping. And he's just he's following us all around. So I walked him back to where we were going to meet and just kind of blocked the whole parade. The parade literally stopped when I went to go to the car. And when I came back, then it proceeded again. Wow. And I stood there. My team had moved off to the side a little bit, but they still were cutting through and displacing. I didn't see them. And I'm walking. I'm just standing there. Lamont waits for me. I'm just plowing through the middle of the crowd. I'm praying in tongues out loud. And I'm staring every single one of these guys in the eyes. And they are the most demonic, hideous eyes I've ever seen, because they're in the garb, intentionally looking this way, and not one of them, when they locked onto my eyes, could stay locked on my eyes. They turned in what looked like shame. Every single one of them. And so, just to take that further, we went and we talked with another young man named Dago, who is, he's a believer. He had a cross on his neck. And I went up to him and I'm like, hey, you play great music here. But it was a community thing where everyone was writing letters to the community, from the community. And so we get there, we're talking about, I'm like, where do we get these cards? I want to write something. And he says, we don't, I don't know where that is, but I said, just to be honest, the real reason I'm up here, I'm curious about that, but you got a cross on the neck, what's the deal? He says, I grew up, he sounded like Catholic, and I said, so that's Catholic? And he goes, no, Christian. And tonight was just encouraging believer after believer after believer. We had a conversation with someone who didn't want, but we went so far with them. We had 5 conversations with individuals for probably 20 minutes each, 30 minutes each. And it was, they knew where they stood when they left our presence. And everyone except for this guy and these two guys, they cried. They surrendered back to the realization of where they're at. And one was an old pastor who's homeless.
Wow.
And he's preaching to us, and he's just like, I used to do this. I used to pastor 7 churches, and none of my family knows that I'm stuck here with where I'm at. But I feel God's put me through the season so that I'm going to be able to minister to these people later. And I said, you're still a pastor. You listen to the words that you're preaching. Your heart's completely contrite and ready to go forth with what the gospel is, and you're doing it. You're shepherding us right now. We're receiving. And so it was just amazing to just see every single one of these hearts just either reconciled or full understanding of where they stood. It was amazing. God was awesome.